Iron Fist episode 7, Felling Tree with Roots. This I think was a really good episode. This may have actually been my favorite episode so far because of just the story elements. Once again, I think they did a really good job with them. The main thing, of course, being, like the last 10 minutes of the episode, we had a lot of crazy stuff go down where the board decides to hold an emergency meeting. They get rid of everybody. I thought, yeah, they're going to get rid of Danny. I didn't think they'd get rid of Ward, Joy, and Danny. I figured, yeah, Ward was, he made a pretty bad call. They were upset about that, and Joy supported him. But, I mean, to take her out of the situation because she agreed with her brother is kind of messed up. Like, they clearly agreed with her because she agreed with him. So it's like, that's kind of on all of you as well. Like, they still chose to vote. But I just didn't see it. Like, her being outed was definitely the last thing I would have expected. Like, Ward made his mistake. Danny, of course, was, they were just mad that, everything he did since he came back that was pretty much it. But the way they did it, I was very surprised by. He brings the guys in. At first, I thought those were going to be the other board members. I wasn't even paying that much attention to the fact that they looked younger. But I was like, wow, they got rid of all three of them. And it also does kind of make a little bit of sense, like, considering all three of them grew up together. You get rid of her brother and her former friend who, recently came back from the dead. There might be a bit of contention there, so it does kind of make a bit of sense to get rid of her as well. And I figured that was going to happen because when he made his decision to close down the plant and keep everyone on payroll so they don't lose their jobs, I was like, man, I didn't think of it, at first, but as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, he's screwed because he might have the majority share of the company, but you can always be voted out. You could literally be the creator of the company. They do that in TV shows all the time where the person that made the company, people on their board vote to have them expelled. So it really sucked, and it just sucked that was the way that it played out, that all three of them were kind of outed in that way. And of course, it was just like one thing after another because at first it was just Ward and all his money was gone. And I figured, of course, that was going to end up being his dad. And then it goes to Joy, and it's like, all right, well, we have the press, another reference to Karen. Actually, Danny went directly to her, which I thought was interesting. And I wish we got that scene. That would have been awesome just to have that in there where he's like, I got a story. And it's like, a half a second, but that would be a huge waste for them to do something like that. To have that actress come in for like 1 second and then have to pay her for that and do the time to set up literally one scene for her to show up just one time in the season, just as like a cool reference to Daredevil. But it was just one thing after another, and so things are starting to fall apart. Danny and Colleen join together. They end up going to the Hatchet Men to take out the hand, or at least this section of the hand. So it's like, all right, we go in, you team up with us because they're going to get rid of you guys anyway, but you team up with us, we go in, we take them down. They get to Radhavan, and unfortunately he still ends up dying. So they're going to be moving on to the next step of that, which is just clearing out the hand in general. And I don't know if they're actually going to end up going to China or what. I highly doubt it. So whatever the case may be, Madame Gao was headed towards the place that Danny was meant to go to if his plane hadn't crashed and he didn't lose his parents. So we'll see where they go with that. But that was their little fight sequence. They teamed up. Then it went to Ward. Then it went to Joy. And then it goes back to Ward for the ending with him and Harold. And Ward, like I said, is probably he's become my favorite character. Like Colleen, I still really like, and I was enjoying her stuff where she was during the fight sequences, and she had cool fight scenes, and she's just a cool character in general. But Ward has like all the serious drama. I feel even more so than Danny and Colleen when they have to like fight for survival. It's like we know they're gonna live. I don't know what to freaking expect from Ward, and now Joy either. I don't know what the deal is with her, but we just have to see how they handle that stuff emotionally. Ward, I don't think will handle it too well. He was already doing pretty bad. Of course, the head in the truck thing was still effing with him a little bit. So that was messing with him. He's just flipping out, and, Joy decides maybe you should just take a break and leave. And he has the chance to get out. And unfortunately, his father ends up stopping him. Takes all his money, too. And we find out also that Ward has actually been embezzling money poorly. So his father was actually protecting him in that circumstance. But he took all his money away, so he literally has nothing now because he killed his dad, which was also really crazy, which I figured was going to happen. He went to him, and they're talking and he's mad at him, of course. And I was like, maybe this could go over, kind of like normal, like Ward's just really upset, but nothing really happens. And then Harold punched him. I was like, okay, like it could have probably ended there where Ward was just, he's mentally being destroyed, but he's still under his thumb. Like maybe there's some way that Harold still has control over him. And then once he did the actual physical gut punch, I was like, well, that was that last little bit of mentality I think Ward actually had, and he saw that he just looked at that little tonto blade and was like, well, I know what's about to happen. So of course, is that no big deal. I don't know. He's kind of dumb in his own right for being so oblivious to how far gone his son really was. After saying like I need your help and having him dispatch bodies, and he's like bashing that head in when they first showed. I was surprised that it got that bloody because this show hasn't really been that way. And he's just bashing his head in, and teeth are flying out, and Ward is just messed up, worse and worse throughout the episode, and he just snapped in the end, and he just stabs his dad, and he's gone. Because I was waiting, I was like, is he going to be like dead, or is this like he can die, but he'll come back to life? Because his pinky didn't heal after he chopped it off. So, what's the case there? Which, I mean, when he first did it, I was like, it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. I know the reasoning for that was to kind of throw off the scent. Like, I don't know what happened. They totally chopped my finger off, and I don't know where they disappeared to after that, but they definitely came to me. And so, he, of course, chopped his finger off, and I was like, yeah, but they're going to figure that out. And I guess it doesn't matter if Madame Gao figures that out or not, because Harold is dead now. So he chopped his pinky off for nothing now. And his body's just in the water, and I don't know what Ward is going to do. He's just smiling by the end of this episode, and it just made it really good. I mean, everything else I thought, was still pretty well done. The beginning I really enjoyed because, once again, it was with Ward, and him going to Harold, and just the opening fight scene was actually pretty good. And, like, the two guys come in and they talk with Harold, and he's like, I'm telling you, he doesn't even know I'm alive. I have nothing to do with Danny Rand. And then he just walks in like, Harold, we got a problem, and is like, oh. But fortunately, that actually gives Harold enough time to grab the blade and stab the first guy, and so then they go into the fight sequence, which I enjoyed. Once again, I think, it's constantly back and forth, and I mentioned this at the end of my last review with how it's so crazy that I enjoyed this fight more than I did the fights at the end of the last episode, which were like 3 fights in one, really 2 fights in one with the first fight and the last fight, and it was just crazy. I was like, man, why do I enjoy this more? Like, he's having a tough time taking this guy down. The guy's like throwing weights at him and stuff, and he, he takes the gun apart and stuff, which I was curious about that because I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why would Danny know how to like undo an entire gun like that? He's been in a monastery, unless they practice how to like disarm guns. So if I'm just being totally honest, as soon as he did that, I was like, does that make sense? I get Daredevil doing that. I get Jessica Jones knowing how to do that if she's going up against somebody with a gun, or same with Luke Cage. But Danny Rand was a kid when he disappeared. I doubt he had a bunch of gun training, and then he went into a monastery, and then he gets back, and I'm pretty sure this is like the first time he's really been fighting against people. And he just like, boom, he took the whole gun apart. I was like, does that make sense for him to know how to do that? So that stuck out to me when that happened. But I actually enjoyed the fight sequence. It was a short sequence, but I still actually enjoyed that one a little more. Still, we always know that he's going to win, but there's just something to it. When he gets punched at least once, it's like, all right, I feel like there's some real weight to this battle now. So it was actually a cool fight sequence that I enjoyed, but I actually liked this episode. I think it was really just the tension surrounding Ward that was really good. And then, of course, the ending to this episode where, things kind of just moved around in ways that I wasn't expecting. Like I said, I figured the board was going to have a meeting to get rid of Danny, but then they're like, we had an emergency meeting to get rid of you, Danny, and your brother. And I was like, wow. I thought for sure, yeah, Danny's effed up real bad. Ward like I said, Ward didn't make the greatest choice, but he didn't do nearly as bad as Danny. He had like one accident, but I feel like it was all kind of coming together at one time where it's like, we already got Danny screwing up, and then Ward wants to go against, what makes sense as well, and he's just compounding on top of all the issues we already have. We need to just kind of wipe the slate clean and make all our millions back, so who knows what the heck's going to happen there, but I'm definitely excited to see where they go in the next episode as far as what Joy's going to do. I can't wait to see what Ward's going to do. Honestly, he's like the heart of this show for me right now. Like, what crazy thing could possibly happen next? Is his father going to come back to life? Is it like a crazy thing where it takes time for him to heal, and because he killed him, he'll come back with the pinky and everything? I don't know, but Ward is like the best thing about this entire show right now, so I can't wait to see what they do with that. I am excited because they are going into battle, so I would assume in the next episode we're gonna finally get that fight sequence I've been looking forward to, where it's Colleen and Danny together fighting against the Hand, and we might also see the Hatchetmen kind of in the background and whatnot. But I think we're finally gonna get to some of the greatest action sequences that the season has to offer. So I'm looking forward to that. But all that's in my mind right now is what in the world are they about to do with Ward? Like, just how is that gonna play out? Because he started as just a douchebag of a character. He's still not that great, but even as a kid, we knew that it was because his dad was kind of an a-hole. He was like, rules are for pussies and stupid stuff like that. Like, you have an idiot of a dad if they tell you that. And him growing up and being, tortured by, his supposedly dead father who has to deal with the Hand and all that stuff. And every move that he makes is being manipulated by his father or altered and stuff. And he either gets manipulated into doing a certain thing or he makes a choice and then he has to fix it or something like that. So I just love the way that it culminated in him killing his father by the end of this episode, because I'm like, all right, we had a fairly interesting villain, because he was kind of a nonchalant, he was really a non-villain. He really was like almost the epitome of an anti-hero in this, because he wasn't really a villain like we thought he was when he first showed up. It's like, oh, this is the guy that's supposed to be dead. He's the bad guy. And then it's like, not really. He just wanted to live. He just wanted the Hand to be destroyed, who we know are like really bad guys from Daredevil. So it's like, he's kind of just the dude that made a deal to survive after, knowing that he was going to end up dying. So it's like, I kind of just made a deal with some bad people. I'm not that bad. I'm a dick, but I'm not like an absolute super villain like the Hand is. So it's like, it's crazy to see that happen with Harold, where he's not really that bad. And then, you look at how bad he is to his own son, and it's like, well, geez, I thought Ward was a dick. But then it's like, he was basically just absolutely driven insane by his own father. And it just got worse and worse, leading up to, of course, Danny making his return. And it's like, wow, it really puts into perspective. And, that's one of the crazy good things about this season. Like, all the mishaps and everything, they've actually done really great with their villains, like specifically with Harold and Ward, and just the way it kind of makes you look at villains as far as like the Hand is like way up here as like this super villain organization. Then you have Harold, who seemed like he was going to be the main villain, and it's like, no, he's just like trying to survive and get rid of the Hand, which is actually a really good thing, even if he's doing it for selfish reasons. It's like one of the best outcomes that could possibly happen for the Marvel Universe. So it's just crazy how it kind of forces you to look at the perspective of who's really a villain and who's not in this season, because we have Harold, who's kind of a dick, but then you look at the way he treats his son and it's like, it kind of does make him a villain a little bit. And then Ward, it's hard to call him a villain even though he just killed his own father. It's like, man, he suffered so much and he was literally driven crazy. He's talking to the dead bodies early in the episode. Like, once that happened and he turned around, I was like, oh, that's officially it. He is gone. So he's actually driven insane. It's like, I kind of feel bad to even call him a villain at this point after everything we've seen him go through and how he's just gotten deeper and deeper into this madness. So I love that they did that, and it's actually like the greatest thing about this, where it makes you look at the villains and kind of really put them in perspective of how bad they truly are and stuff like that. So really love what they did with it. I'm excited for the next episode. Hopefully we'll get those action sequences that just really get me, that I've been waiting for. But definitely want to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. I mean, honestly, all three of them have been kicked out of the company. There's been a bit of information. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but Danny got that information that he gave to Harold. I don't know if anyone else in the show would be able to even understand like all that information and have the time to go through it. Like, technically Ward could, I'm sure, and maybe Joy as well, if they just go through the numbers, but she can't do it, and he's crazy right now, so I don't know if Danny's going to bring her into the fold and those secrets kind of go through that stuff. But I definitely want to know where you guys think it's headed now that Harold has been killed off. But it was exciting, and also they made a cool, this is random, but they made an actually pretty cool reference to the Roxxon Corporation, which is a really big thing for anyone who may have watched Agent Carter, Peggy Carter, who was in like the first Captain America movie. That was like the big company in her show, especially during season 2, was the Roxxon Corporation. So that was a cool reference that they kind of threw that in there and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that. That was just a random little reference. But like I said, want to know where you guys think things are headed now that Harold has been killed off. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.